What's up, people on the internet? Hope you had an amazing day. Now, in today's video, I want to talk about that summer is on its way in Japan. We're currently in April, so we're a couple months away, but I just want to advise people, if you have potentially booked a trip to Japan, or maybe you're thinking about coming to Japan in the summer, my advice is don't. Don't come to Japan in summer. It is absolutely horrible here. It is a internal hell of fiery, sweaty, horrible, sticky living conditions. Just do not come here. I think Japan is lucky we live in a day and age where aircon exists, because Christ, if aircon didn't exist, Japan would be very hard for those 3 months. I don't think they could survive. I think they would have to have a system where if it gets so hot outside, no one can work, they will go home. But it's so hot and horrible here. The biggest issue to why it's so hot and horrible here is the humidity. Japan is one of the countries with the most humidity in the summer, and that's what makes the summer really horrible, because the weather could be maybe like 35, but because of the humidity, it then turns the actual feeling of the temperature to like 40 degrees. So absolutely horrible time to come in summer. But if you are a person that you have decided to book your trip to Japan in summer, I'm going to give you some advice on what you should be doing, what you should do the second you get to Japan right away, so you can kind of stay cooler and not die from the heat as much as possible. Now, my first advice, depending what your planning trip is don't stay outside. Try and do all of the inside items, find things to do inside, because when you're in a place with aircon, you won't have an issue at all. It'll be very nice, very cold. You won't die from the heat. So really find everything outside. A good thing to do as well, because we did this when we went to Tokyo in the summer, is really just, stay away from outside as much as you can. So if you have to travel to different places, we went through all the underground routes, because it's still hot down there, but trust me, it's not as hot compared to being actually outside. So stay underground as much as you physically can, just to avoid the burning sun. So that's one advice, is just stay outside as much as you can. If you are going to go outside and you want to do some things outside, then it's hard, because it's hot literally 24/7. You think when it gets to nighttime it's going to cool down. It is not really going to be that much colder. It's still going to be hot and humid. Like, the Japan is basically an oven till like September. It's hot 24/7. Now, my biggest one, super important, everyone should be doing this every day regardless, and especially if you ever come to Japan, you need to definitely be doing this every day, is put your goddamn sunscreen on. Put it on every single day, because especially if you ever do come to Japan, or even if you decide to come and live in Japan, like, you could be slapping this bad boy on you every single day, because the UV here is super strong. Like, there's been a couple of days, even in April, it's been very strong. I went to go do an hanabi, which is the cherry blossom viewing, and that was like a sunny afternoon day. And when I got home, I felt myself was a little bit sun-kissed, and we were sitting under a tree. I had my sunscreen on, I was drinking water, but I felt a little bit sun-kissed, and that was just us sitting outside on a spring April day. So the sun is super deadly here. So make sure you are putting on your sunscreen. This is super important. I would personally want to be saying you should be applying this at least 3 times a day. One in the morning when you wake up, one at lunchtime, and maybe even at 2 o'clock again, because the sun is just so deadly here. You want to be slapping this on pretty much all the time. If you think you need to put sunscreen on, go put it on, because the sun, it's just so hot and deadly here. Like, I always carry sunscreen on me now, because it's super important, because the sun will just kill your face here. The next one as well is make sure you have a hat, because Christ, this is really just protecting everything on your face, especially up here, because you think you've got your hair and your hair is going to protect you, but no, the hair does no good. Just always keep your head covered as much as possible. Like, for me, I call this is my old lady hat, because it also protects the neck as well. Like, it is not fashionable at all. It looks like I look such like an old lady in this hat, but I do not care, because it protects me from this laser sun that Japan has. There's a reason it is called the rising sun, because this rising sun will burn you to a crisp. So yeah, super important. And obviously that follows with sun protection behavior is drink goddamn water all the time. Let me tell you, in my first year, me and my friend, we did the Henro on Shikoku for the summer. You might be thinking, why did we do it in summer? Our biggest reason is that's the most time we can get a long period off from working. So we had to do it in the summer. Thank God we were driving, but on our first day, we came really underprepared with all the walking and we sort of drank all our water very quickly. I had to go find a conveni and I bought like 4 liters of like 2 liter bottles of water. And I was always like, we are keeping water in this car 24/7 because we came with no water. We were all dying at the end of the day. It was a horrible, horrible experience. So make sure you have water with you all the time. Also, make sure to maybe either have like a Bacardi Sweat or there's this lighty drink or any drink that has electrolytes in as well. Because in Japan, because of the humidity, you are constantly sweating. So you might also feel a bit lightheaded or just not feeling great because you have lost all your electrolytes. Also, salt tablets is another good one as well. In Japan, you can buy these little bags that have salt tablets in. So make sure in the summer you either drinking your electrolytes or you grab a couple of salt tablets if you are planning to be outside. Because in Japan, heat stroke is very serious. There's many kids that do happen to pass out with heat stroke because I take my hats off for the kids in school because in the summer, even though it's the school holidays, they come to school every morning to do their sports. And I've seen some of the baseball kids, they are out in the burning sun, literally practicing baseball. And the thing is, a couple of the kids have passed out and gotten heat stroke from it because they are playing, they're doing intense sport in this burning sun. And they do happen to pass out and then they have to go to the nurse's office. So yeah, it is no joke here. Make sure you are constantly staying hydrated. If you are a tourist, make sure you are carrying water with you all the time in your bags. Or if you are in the bigger cities, always pop into the convenis. If you are walking outside and you are feeling quite hot, there's a conveni pretty much on every corner. Just quickly pop in, buy some water, use the aircon to cool yourself down. I really believe if you do have to go outside and you are in a big city, use the convenis as little kind of cooling points just to kind of cool down from the heat. Because even you think you're just doing a 5-minute walk to the next place, no, that 5 minutes you are going to be sweaty as hell. It is a horrible, horrible time, Japan, in the summer because it's so hot. And if you're traveling, then good luck on you because it is a hard time here. Make sure you're wearing light clothes, breathy clothes. I personally recommend you going to Uniqlo and buying their thin heat tech because personally I really love their thin heat tech because especially for the summer, I will still wear long sleeves in the summer, but the heat tech's great because it's super thin and it's enough to kind of keep obviously the UV from your skin as well, and it's thin enough that you can still breathe and you're not dying from the summer. So I really recommend when you come to Japan in the summer, go to Uniqlo and buy their super thin heat tech t-shirts because they are great. And then my last one that it's not too bad, I kind of recommend it if you are a person that does get quite sweaty and you don't like the sweaty feeling, is in Japan you can buy these kind of like little tissues to stick under your armpits to help the sweat that doesn't come through. So if you're walking somewhere, you're not coming with all this kind of armpit sweat. And I do actually quite like them and they do work. My only downside to these is they're like little pads that you have to stick onto your clothes yourself. And for me, I always struggle to kind of get them onto the t-shirt because when I'm trying to figure out the angle of like where my armpit is and to the t-shirt, I always kind of place it wrong. And sometimes because it's only a little bit of like a sticky pad, they can move around and slip. So my only downside to them is if they aren't in the right position, they aren't great. But if you've got them actually in the right position and they're all sort of, locked in, so cool, they're not going to move around, then they are pretty great and they can stop the sweating pretty well. It's just kind of hard to kind of get the right placement to begin with. But when it's in the right placement and it's working, they do actually do a really good job. Because for one of the schools I have to walk to, especially in summer, and I remember a couple of times coming to the school, I had massive like sweat patches before the day has even begun. So these are very great when they are in the right position. They stopped like the whole kind of sweat patches coming through. But I was also getting to a point like I had to put other t-shirts in my school locker, just so I'd wear a different t-shirt to school, and then the second I get to school I would change to a different top, because the sweat is just so much, and the sweating is just so much, and at the start of the day, and this is like the day hasn't even started yet. This is around like before 8 o'clock, so I'm walking 7 a.m. in the morning, and the sun has already kicked off. I'm walking like 20 minutes, and I'm like drenched through when I get to school, because the heat and the humidity is so bad here, and no one wants to be in like an awful sweaty t-shirt for the whole day, so I'd always keep a couple of spare t-shirts at my school. And then my last one I really want to recommend, and I recommend this for both parties because they are just great, is you want to go buy yourself one of these UV umbrellas when you get to Japan. Now, they're pretty much sold everywhere. Don Quixote will definitely have them. So definitely grab yourself a UV umbrella. So what happens is on the inside, it's kind of got like a black film or like a blackout tape. So this part here will reduce the amount of UV. As my umbrella says, it cuts 99.9% of UV. And let me tell you, these are great. I love the UV umbrellas in the summer because you will be surprised. Underneath this umbrella, it is going to knock at least 1 or 2 degrees from what the temperature is actually outside. And also, if you do have to travel outside, then these are great to get to your next place because they will drop the temperature underneath you by a couple of degrees, and they are such a lifesaver. I really recommend a UV umbrella. I think these are great, especially if you have to walk in summer. So when I'm walking to school in the summer, I am always grabbing my UV umbrella because it does make a huge difference on the walk to school. So yeah, those are my little summer tips if you ever do come to Japan in the summer. I personally don't recommend it. I think come in either autumn, spring, or winter. But if you are going to come in summer, summer is a nice time. There's a lot of summer festivals. It is great. Just really, drink water, stay inside as much as you can, avoid doing outdoor sports or events if possible because it is super hot, or just be prepared you're going to be hot and sticky. But if you follow these rules and advice, if you're drinking water, wearing sunscreen, wearing a hat, wearing kind of protection from the heat and summer, and trying to find aircon as much as possible, you will survive. But please, please, please be careful and be prepared because the sun here in summer is no joke. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If there's anything else you want me to talk about in Japan, my life, or just anything in general, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.